Good Monday afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center right now with a severe thunderstorm warning in play for Bradford County, right where we're at pretty much until about 3:45. You can hear that thunder in the background if you listen carefully there. I know we just posted about an advisory being in play here, and right about the time we were posting that severe thunderstorm warning issue because the wind threat and the hail threat has gone up now. Instead of hail there under an inch in diameter, it could be an inch, and then winds could be to 60 miles an hour here, so more of a damage potential now. I know we just had storms last night. I know of a severe threat again today here around Bradford County in north central Florida. Reading a warning here at 3:09. A severe thunderstorm was located over Sampson and near Starke, moving northeast at 10 miles an hour. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail possible. Starke, New River, Sampson, and Hampton here. So you can kind of see the sky. We're looking there toward the west, a little bit to the south, and we're just east of town. So that's what we're showing you in the bottom right corner right now with this severe thunderstorm warning here in play until about 3:45. So just make sure you're taking precaution here in this type of situation. In fact, let me go ahead. I'll take this away and put the tips on, and then we'll take the camera full here pretty much. We'll move away from the radar for a moment to see the skies as the conditions do deteriorate here across parts of Bradford County, getting these nastier properties here, potential severe properties to come into play. Looking back at my anemometer here real quick. So right now not getting much of a gust in terms of the wind, but we were getting gusts a few moments ago as things were kind of moving on into the region here. A gust to 17 miles an hour, close to the top of the hour here. But again, we talked about it before, it's about 6 feet or so, so it's not going to have the highest gust here. In terms of just maybe really indicating the full veracity of things. But okay, they just sent out an update, the Weather Service there at 3:17, an update from the National Weather Service in Jacksonville there at 3:17. A severe thunderstorm was located over Sampson still or near Starke, moving northeast at 10 miles an hour. So Starke, Sampson, and Hampton are this. They're Al Sandrick sending this update out, sending the initial warning out as well as we go ahead, and I'll pop that on the screen then so you guys get a look at the updated polygon. It didn't change much here, but we'll go ahead and take away the tips here for a moment. Again, just make sure whenever that thunder roar is going indoors, though, and then see such and such a sturdy building and stay away from those windows. But we're going to go ahead and put that camera back in the corner so we can still keep an eye on it while we are talking about the radar and the different potential severe properties here. I know it's kind of a signature where we had some more concentrated areas showing up a few moments ago, but quite a few areas that are pretty bright here in velocity. They indicate some at least damaging wind potential is not out of the question here for sure on parts of Bradford County. So just make sure you're inside and away from windows. We're not really seeing a tornadic situation or anything like that developing. It doesn't seem at this point. No tornado possible tag. Not really seeing any rotation with this here. So that's some good news, but we'll watch just in case. But we don't really expect that this time of year. But it's a severe thunderstorm warning in play for Bradford County here. It's our second warning of the day. We had one for southern Marion early this afternoon. South Central Marion posted about that on Facebook and Twitter. Did have a little bit of damage from that reported down there. I know yesterday's storms were really impactful, though, almost 4 inches for today where we're at here east of Starke. And then we had those flooding reports around town, power outages, so on up, and then toward Baker and toward parts of Putnam County. I know the Weather Service was mentioning here with some of the local storm reports really had some bigger problems, even some power pole issues. It seemed I'll kind of jump back over there just to kind of read off a couple of those real quick. I know they had power poles down even 7 miles northwest of Glen St. Mary, and then also in Putnam County, Pomona Park power poles, entries down there. Just kind of to name just a couple of the different details there in some of those reports. But again, you can see we're watching this storm and it's coming to play now. Gotta be careful here. Gotta be really careful with this severe threat around Starke. Some heavier downpours coming into the picture here. Some heavier downpours coming on in here. Some gustier winds could be damaging winds here. You see the winds picking up a little bit on our camera there in the bottom right. We're still out ahead of this just a bit, but still some gusty winds even out ahead here. So 8 miles an hour so far. Nothing too impressive. Not really getting much on the rain gauge here at all so far for today. But 14 miles an hour now on the anemometer. Again, looking at our winds here, coming more from a southerly direction right now. I'm looking kind of back at our anemometer. Right now, again, checking all the latest information to protect you, your friends, and your family here. Again, severe thunderstorm warning in play until about 3:45 for Bradford County. I'm just going to go ahead and see what else we might have here in terms of reports maybe from Bradford Weather Stem in Starke, or maybe some power outages. Those might take a little longer to self though, so I'm going to check the weather stem station at the sheriff's office first off. So Augusta 21 there so far as this weather really comes into the picture. Again, Sampson is where they're pinpointing some of the worst of that area there. And you can see a few different bright areas on the Doppler. Now zoom in here. Some pretty strong wind maybe moving toward a Kenroyd 16 here as well as we're getting just north of Star. That's why this warning encompasses a pretty big area. More than one maximum here in terms of that damage potential. Not out of the question here at least, but the focal point is there over towards Sampson or near Stark. So again, Augusta 20 at Weather Stem there, Bradford County Sheriff's Office Weather Stem in the last 10 minutes here. 79 degrees there right now. We're at 79 as well as we look at our thermometer here. So cooling off some. We were cooling off some yesterday though, and we started a storm. It's not going to take necessarily, I mean, it's not going to be a situation here where it takes too much in terms of those temperatures being up there to cause these storms to be pretty nasty, because instability is already baked in to some degree here. So you just got to be mindful of that. So again, a severe thunderstorm warning on play until about 3:45 here for Bradford County. So again, we have Starke obviously in here, Sampson, Hampton in here as well. So again, it's kind of a pretty broad area all along this line. So that's why I'm not kind of pinpointing one area over the other right now. But let's see, I might go back to other source here and just see a different view for a second. Want to kind of give you guys a different visual and just get that margin of risk for the wind damage potential in the background there. Not really seeing a hail risk there with the official outlook, though there is a risk, could get hail to an inch. Not out of the question here. Not really seeing that so far here in our algorithms for the most part today, or in these setups last couple of days. We just can't completely rule it out here. So we'll just continue to watch for that here as the situation does go along. Again, just trying to give you guys the very latest here to protect you, your friends, and your family. I'm going to go back over to other source right now and kind of point some things out as this accent tries to move closer in towards Starke here. You can see this is our reflectivity mode. So I have my mouse on the screen now. You can see here getting some of these heavier downpours there. As we're looking, we're just west there of Kenroyd 16, and we're around State Road 100 here as well. So again, severe thunderstorm warning in play until 3:45. You can see some greens here on our storm relative velocity, but then on our base velocity, seeing those as well. It's right now still in wind 30, maybe 35 miles an hour in here, but we were getting even higher numbers earlier on, but it's kind of widespread enough here where it's kind of hard to tell exactly where maybe the worst of this could be. So there's a chance in here that there could actually be, with all this heavy rain around, a little bit stronger wind, but now it looks like they decided to go ahead and cancel the warning. Okay, so they decided to cancel the warning. We did get a gust here at Keystone Airport, though, to 41 miles an hour at about 15 past the hour, but they think the severe threat has weakened on down enough here that they're going to cancel the warning here. So looking like Al Sandrick saying a severe thunderstorm warning for Bradford County and northeast Bradford, and just the Bradford County region has been canceled. So the storm was prompted to warnings weakened below severe limits and no longer posing an immediate threat to life or property. Therefore, the warning has been canceled. However, gusty winds are still possible with this thunderstorm there. So that was warning number 262 there this year from the National Weather Service in Jacksonville for a severe thunderstorm threat in and of itself. But I think we're going to stick with this a little bit longer since this is still coming through here until we see a little bit more weakening. I don't think we'll have maybe severe properties here, but we could have some stronger winds in here coming on into the picture. So let's stick with this at least a few more minutes. The official severe thunderstorm warning has been canceled, but there's still lightning around whenever thunder roars. Go indoors here in this type of situation. So And that's kind of your storyline right now. So we're back to more of that situation where instead of 60-mile-an-hour wind, back down to 50 and half inch hail instead of 60 and 1 inch hail, but still can be a problem. But we don't generally stay on for these here, and we don't come on for these generally in and of themselves either. But since we're already with you guys, let's just stick with this a little bit longer since it still has to get through parts of Bradford County here over the next little bit. So again, let me go ahead and kind of back this up a little bit. You can kind of see how things trying to come together there. The worst right along State Road 100 there, just west of Starke, it would seem right now that would be the indication. But we're just checking our system. If there's any questions right now from any of our viewers out there. I know that's always important, or if there's anything that's getting passed along here even. From anybody I know, just to see if there's anything that's kind of worth noting. I don't see anything right now, but we'll keep on checking for the very latest here in the Weather Center, obviously. Let me go ahead and see here. I know Florida Power's numbers are pretty high today. Even some in Bradford County showing up now in Clay Electric. So let's go ahead and see what we have here then. As we still may want to look at the gauge there, Sheriff's Office over the next little bit, but it looks like 141 customers in Starke and Bradford County on Clay Electric, 374, and a lot that are in the dark there at this hour. So, and FP&L is showing some as well. So let me go ahead and check those numbers here. Check those numbers. So it looks like around Hampton, 170 customers. They're right in the Hampton area along 301 in the dark. And then as we look here, we'll go up toward the north. I don't see anything yet around Starke proper. I know we had some outages yesterday, but those don't necessarily show up right in Starke because that's on the different grid there. Really, in terms of just being a track more there with the city electric. So we don't actually get to see those numbers in real time generally, but we definitely hear about the reports here on Facebook and the like when they do happen with some outages in the worst dark out points. But again, the severe thunderstorm warning canceled, but a significant weather advisory still in play. We wouldn't generally be on here with this still. With the overall scenario kind of weakening on down some if we weren't already on, but I just want to stick with it a little bit longer. You see Lake Butler, some heavy downpours there. And I want to switch to a different lightning mode. I think sometimes this kind of underdoes it a little bit. So let's go ahead and kind of switch you guys on over toward a different lightning mode here. You can see along State Road 100. State Road 100, some lightning showing up there. Nothing that's just maybe overwhelming, but there definitely is some dangerous lighting in the area. Any lighting dangerous, though. Something to keep in mind. Something to keep in mind here for sure. So, again, let's go ahead and broaden the view back. I see there's just some other candidates for warnings as we look, because of course we cover not just Bradford County, but our 62 counties as a whole here. And we very well could have more warnings through the rest of the afternoon and the evening here. So, again, just reminding you guys there of our coverage map. As we keep our camera in the corner from where we're at here in eastern Bradford, you can see here we're always covering things here, and in terms of these different counties so on up, we're always on for any tornado warning storm moving through any one of these 62 counties. That's generally not a threat here late July, but we are also watching the severe thunderstorm threats, and we kind of make sure we use our discretion when we come on with these. Sometimes when they're more random, we don't, but when they're more organized type of threats, especially like what we saw yesterday, we had to be on for a while, about 5 hours or so. It's all about protecting you, your friends, and your family. That is what my mission is here at Clouds Weather, and it's been that for the last few years. As we go ahead and go back on over to the Doppler right now, I'm going to check on our thermometer behind me. 7 miles an hour right now. Still the highest gust only 17, but we're on the east side of the county, so we're not going to get into the storminess yet here. We'll see how this kind of moves on in here over the next little bit. Let me go ahead and kind of loop this around because it's been kind of erratic here in some ways. So you can see some development. This is going back, that was 2 o'clock or so, and then you can see how we've had stuff kind of aim more up into Bradford County here with some development. Warren was pretty short-lived, thankfully, but it still didn't mean to threat over. It just means maybe we're not seeing quite as high of a severe type of properties and thunderstorm type of properties. Instead of this hitting into severe levels, maybe into more of those strong thunderstorm levels as we kind of look at things here. in Bradford County. You can kind of see how we had things kind of come together there. Northern Alachua County, and seeing some things evolve on us there over the last little bit. But right now it does seem like we're on a weakening trend, but I don't want us to let our guard down here just in case, because even if we don't get another warning for this, we very well may not. Especially like them canceling early like that. We just, whenever thunder roars, we want to go indoors here. Even now that advisory as of 3:30 went away for a moment, I suspect we'll get another one of those. I can't guarantee it, but again, we'll just continue to watch things here. If we don't get another advisory pretty soon, I might wrap it up, because that would indicate here a situation that's more just rainy area there that's kind of moving across parts of our area with some lightning, and then we wouldn't even be getting strong thunderstorm property, so really be hard to justify staying on. But let's stick with it a little longer to see if that kind of gets back into play, reissued here. So let's go ahead. You can hear the thunder in the background here. Again, whenever thunder roars go indoors, it doesn't take a strong or severe thunderstorm to have lightning problems. So just keep that in mind here. Just keep that in mind as we're looking at things this afternoon. So just checking here. I want to go ahead and continue to get you guys the latest updates. So let me go ahead and see here my anemometer. So not seeing too much from it right now. That's good news, but we're going to keep watching and keep tracking it, obviously. So yeah, we're getting a solid 0 right now on the anemometer. Do you see the trees maybe blowing a little in the corner? But we're not getting anything right on it at the moment, which is a good bit of information. Let me check Bradford Weather Stem there, and the sheriff's office specifically for any information I need to pass along. The Bradford County Sheriff's Office. So gust of 13, last 10 minutes, nothing really impressive there. And looking at our information from Bradford Sheriff's Office dispatch, there was a traffic crash at 2:33. That was received at that time at least, State Road 100 and 116th Street. Don't know if that's weather related or not. Don't know if that's weather related, but that was further down in the county. Let me check the radar actually, because I know we were watching some stuff that was trying to move into that area earlier on. Okay, there was a little bit of moisture in that area maybe at the time, but not necessarily weather related there. But I'm gonna keep watching things. I don't see anything about wire being down or something like that. Any type of power outage information where there's some type of dispatch details being relayed. I know we had some of that yesterday. I relayed that information to the National Weather Service in Jacksonville through their chat session. But again, right now, we're just going to go ahead and keep looking at things here right now in the Weather Center. Let me go ahead and zoom back out just a little bit. You can see in Putnam County, there is some wind activity, but no advisory in play there. We just got a new warning outside of our area by a pretty good ways in Osceola County, though. It's in central Florida there. If anybody's watching from down there, let's just give you a quick update on that. It looks like a lot of wind there south of St. Cloud is where that's setting up more. I mean, St. Cloud is under the warning, but it looks like some of the worst of that is kind of setting up more south of town. But you still got to make sure you're inside and away from windows down there if you're in that area. As way earlier, obviously, we didn't have much on the Doppler, but this stuff gets in there pretty quick, and now a potential severe threat there. Again, that's earlier, that's now. We'll try to load some of those frames in between, though, into the picture. So, I see you got the 39 around Kissimmee a little while ago. You see that boundary there? We have that in play, and we're seeing strengthening. We're seeing strengthening here into Ward. Parts of Osceola County now with that in the picture. You see Holy Paw there, and some of those areas down there will need to be watching very carefully, because these winds do so to 60 or so down in toward that area there. County Road 523. So something that we'll be looking at. Let's see what the terminal radar is. So there's a downburst signature earlier on. I was watching down there, and you're seeing some of the terminal though. This straight line winds really moving through. A little bit of those towards St. Cloud. Sort of a little bit better there. So just be careful in that area. But it's happening now. There's not much of a heads up to be given at this point. It's kind of in progress down there. So again, a warning just being issued right there. But let's go ahead and get back to our stuff here. The reason we're on the air, not for anything in Central Florida. Those are not part of our counties. Just thought I would give you guys a quick update on that, though, since we don't have any warnings, or even, I mean, let me double check here. Yeah, now with that advisory going away too, they canceled the warning, they let the advisory go. They're right now not mentioning anything like that here. Coming and play again, or at least for the moment, of the weather service in Jacksonville. Well, we check something out to make sure that we're getting all the information that we need here before we're to think about maybe wrapping this up. So let me see if there's anything in terms of different special weather statement type of coding here. I don't see it. So that's good news, and it's kind of broadened here the wind pattern, which is some very good news, obviously. Some very good news for you guys at home here this afternoon as we continue to watch here. Again, we're just going to try to give you guys the very latest as conditions warrant. Just let me go ahead and see. I know we're getting some comments there, I believe, in Spanish on YouTube. Not quite fluent enough in Spanish to try to answer those questions, if that's what they are, or kind of talk more about the comments. But again, just thanks so much for tuning in, trusting me here on this Monday afternoon. So 1,015 millibars on that barometric pressure. Wind 17 earlier, but now, I mean, things have kind of really broadened out here with the storminess with this area. We still have to watch so that we're still in a situation where we have quite a bit of energy, not as much as we had here yesterday, thankfully, but we still have a good bit of energy around, so we got to be aware of that. So let me go ahead and go back on over here. 3,000, 4,000 joules per kilogram there. Surface-based CAPE still on up in some different areas here, but yesterday we were talking about over 5,000 joules per kilogram, so not quite as much. We cooled down some here, so maybe that'll help us for the rest of the day, but still have some light in the area. Still not an all clear by any means. You just gotta be careful. Don't be out in a pool or anything like that right now with lightning around, obviously, if you're on Starke. 77 degrees where we're at with our temperature reading right now. Getting a little bit of rain to fall where we're at this point. I'll go ahead and zoom on in. And you can kind of see here some of the storm that's coming in the picture. Let me go ahead and go to our infrared sat. Oh, I'm going to do out of it visible. That's what I had on here first. But okay, so you can kind of see where more cloud to the south. A lot of breaks to the north, but we don't have all the forcing in play to the north today. But as you get further on up, but you can see some storms there that are powered on up there, and even more so in Central Florida. Again, seeing stuff down there in that regard. Let me take this off. Our wrist does go in towards southeast Georgia, don't get me wrong. It's just we're not seeing things here right now come into play as much up that way. And let me put up our modeling, just kind of see what could happen here. Okay, so that was what could have happened earlier on in the afternoon. Let me get to the latest run because I'm seeing some discrepancies here. I don't want to kind of confuse you guys here at home. So let's go ahead and give you guys. Yeah, even now, it's not really picking up on this stuff very good at all. So, I mean, it's running behind with this. It does show some development later to push in toward Jacksonville, though. And then maybe, I mean, that's about 8 o'clock tonight. Maybe some stuff toward, like, Charlton County. But overall, not seeing too much maybe at this point based on the anticipation here on the model and into our southeastern Georgia counties. But again, we're going to keep watching things and keep tracking things here. I do see some stuff south of Flagler County that might bear watching here. See if it kind of gets pushed up a little bit further on here toward the north. That might be kind of interesting to watch in that regard. In fact, we just got a special weather statement coming in from the National Weather Service in Jacksonville for that activity now. So let's go ahead and kind of zoom on in here. Some of this action, I mean, I say that in that just saying a bar in the Crescent City here. So it may actually be pretty accent out toward the west here. I mean, there's Crescent City, and then you're looking at some of our different communities there. Looking there, and you'll be able to kind of see how we have this line too. But then this stuff's kind of trying to come up in the same box, so it kind of gets accounted for as well. So just something to kind of be mindful of here this afternoon. So. Again, you see some stuff in northern Bradford. Looks a little bit stronger in that latest scan there, maybe. Yeah, it looks like some development there in northern Bradford now. Starting to strengthen up near Highland. Into where that part of the viewing circle, I know where we're at. I had that camera up there in the corner. I'm going to take that full. So let's go ahead and do it like that. You'll be able to see. We're not seeing much at all. That's good news so far anyway. Could pick up some. And whenever thunder roars, you still want to be indoors, obviously. But yeah, 5 miles an hour in the anemometer. That's it. So that's some good news. I'm going to probably pick up a little bit more, but it seems like the focus has shifted to the north now. It's shifted up toward the north, up toward the Highland area. So that's some good news for Starke proper, but not so good news for you guys there on Highland. A little less populated, but still, you folks out there in that area just west of 301 in northern Bradford County, some, I would say, stronger weather here. Not severe, but may get an advisory for that again here pretty soon, I would say. You see parts of Putnam County in here, though, with some gusty winds there on Lundy. That's partly maybe why we had an advisory issued off of Augusta 33 or so at Palaca's airport just in the last little bit. I know sometimes our system rounds up or down just a bit, but in that 30 range, not tropical storm force, but that would be 39 plus. But it's still enough here that you can kind of see the wind having a little bit of an impact here, but not too big of a deal. So again, as we look here up toward areas around Florida, you're seeing that strengthening wind pattern again now as we look, because we had it kind of diminished after we had that warning issued. And you saw that boundary kind of push on through. Now we're seeing that kind of interact with some stuff, it seems. And you can kind of make that out if you look real carefully here on our velocity. So you see an area kind of just coming through, and then you have the warning, and then this area up here that's now the one that's starting to really have some maybe upscale growth. Our ZDR product's showing some of that here right now, so we don't use too often. But again, that's near Highland there, west of 301, west of 301. And now you can see some of that now crossing over 301 in northwestern Clay County. Again, we'll continue to watch things here and see if things, up toward Duval eventually probably have some nastier weather coming to play in toward that part of our region. So we'll be watching, we'll be tracking the monitors, really showing that up toward Duval later though. So we'll be paying attention here. These things haven't been anything like what they were back last night toward Bradford County, but things can change very quickly. They can change on a dime really, like what we saw then. So I just don't want to let our guard down. Let me see if there's anything new here or anything. It looks like there are some reports of power outages in Facebook word of mouth toward Hampton and Graham right now. So maybe right when that warning was being issued, or maybe, I'll have to check some time, maybe right before even. It's not out of the question. We had some at least stronger winds in that vicinity there to try to evolve on us. There is now a report of a road obstruction, County Road 18 there in Hampton. I can't guarantee if that's from the weather, obviously, but it could have been. It's just being received at 335, but that's between areas there of Hampton and between, I would say, at least Brooker. But let me zoom in a little bit tighter, see if I can kind of get my bearings to Graham. But at least there between Hampton and Brooker for sure. So it looks like just east of County Road 227. So I may have had a tree fall, power line fall. We don't know. I can't speculate or kind of just assume there and go with that. We don't know. It may not have been because of the weather even, but it seems based on some of those reports that it's possible we had some bad weather down there right around the time the warning was issued. Let me see when these power outages were marked for. So Bradford County, do have one a little bit further up that happened at 3:36 there. 11 customers in the dark as we look there toward areas here on County Road 225. I know it's a situation you don't have to have severe weather to have power outages or damaging winds in and of themselves to have severe weather, but and let's check that out. It's down there, southern Bradford. Okay, it was reported at 3:10. Reported at 3:10, so that's 1 minute into that severe thunderstorm warning then. And then as we look here, looking like another outage there just off of Lake Santa Fe at 2:52. That's there just in the southern little tip of Bradford County there. Yeah, that's on Clay Electric. So as well as we go ahead and continue to watch things here, we're being told, as I was mentioning earlier on, actually, that gust to 41 at 3:15 at the Keystone Heights Airport there. So that's kind of the storyline right now. as we're looking at things at Keystone Heights Airport, Augusta 41 around 3:15, right when we're jumping on pretty much actually. Let's see here, I'm moving this over just a little bit here. So that airport, they were just, I mean, right on the edge of that warning, really, there. But this kind of a situation, that's not a severe gust anyway. So strong thunderstorm type of statements account for that here in general. We were posting about here a little bit earlier there as that warning was just coming in right at that time, right when I was getting done posting that on Facebook there. That warning came across. And it was talking about that severe threat escalating towards 60-mile-an-hour gusts instead of 50, and then hail maybe upwards of an inch. Not out of the question, at least, in this type of pattern. So, again, just trying to give you guys the very latest here. I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out a bit, and you can see there around Palatka there, looking like there, again, a little bit of gusty winds, but nothing overwhelming. So we'll keep watching though. We're watching this stuff down here in Volusia County. That's pretty strong. And then this stuff in northern Bradford, I feel like I probably will get an advisory here at some point. We're seeing winds at 30, 35, showing up in velocity right now. So definitely couldn't run a gust to 40, but not looking like severe at this point. But strong would probably be the right phrasing for that. So, okay, that's going to wrap it up for now. Let me make sure there's no more questions or anything like that to kind of check on here from any of the viewers at home. I don't see anything like that. But just again, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for trusting me. As long as I don't get a warning here in a second, I'll wrap. But I do see a little bit of an indication of some strengthening there just east of Palatka. Now we're getting our algorithm to do a little bit better job with hail, picking up on 1-inch hail here. Now this is right there on East Palatka, so I'm gonna make sure there's nothing to that. Because if there is, I might have to stick with this. But I don't see a lot in wind mode, but there could be something. The hail mode seems like it could be picking up on that purple there, and then let's check correlation coefficient. There could be a little bit of hail in here as we're watching things. I don't think that's out of the question now. Whether it's an inch in size, it's hard to say. In this type of setup, probably need to exceed a little bit higher than an inch for them to issue a warning because this pattern not as favorable for hail, but we'll see. And it just went down a little, so that's good news. Had some strengthening there. Kind of, you could actually see it for a couple scans at least. It was like that, and then now it's starting to weaken back down. This is how things go sometimes this time of year, so you just have to kind of bear that in mind here. Things are happening very rapidly in these type of patterns here this time of year. So again, we're going to keep watching things. We're going to keep tracking things here in the Weather Center. That's going to do it for now. But if we have another warning, we have more information we need to pass along. Of course, we'll be on top of it here as we watch our different algorithms. I hear some thunder. It sounded like, at least in the background. I'll pop up our camera in the corner again. You can see the rain coming down. We're out here in Bradford County. Just trying to make sure we dot all the I's, cross all the T's here this afternoon to try to keep you guys safe and informed. So, again, looking here at our different Doppler scans around Holland. There you can see some wind enhancement, no advisory, no warning there right now, but some lightning. Lightning, you don't have to have a warning or an advisory because it's a situation whenever thunder roars, just got to go indoors here. That's not considered a severe property. It can indicate severe production being more likely, but I mean, there's an example and examples in over the years. We're not expecting anything like this, but today, December there, going back several years, around about Australia, we had a tornado. A touchdown with really not seeing any observed cloud to ground lightning there. It's a pretty significant one too. Weren't expecting that. So weather can be tricky sometimes. You can have stuff here without as much warning or lightning, or you can have it, and sometimes if the lightning didn't cause the damage, lightning helps in a way because it gives you that warning to the rumbles of thunder to get inside and get away from windows, acting like a little bit of a natural weather siren in a way. I mean, you'd rather avoid having to really use that here in some cases if you could help it, because sometimes things can just develop right on you very quickly here. And again, sometimes you don't even have that option there with the storm not producing the lightning, but they can still be dangerous with some different hazards as we've outlined here in the Weather Center. So we're keeping an eye on things. We're watching stuff down toward Putnam County. I just don't want you guys to get caught off guard if we get a warning down here We'll use our discretion, obviously. If we need to come on, we will, on the different platforms, here. So Facebook, Casey Cloud WX and Cloud Weather, Twitter at Cloud Casey, YouTube at Cloud Weather, Twitch at Cloud Weather. And then if we don't need to come on, though, then we'll just post about it on Facebook, Casey Cloud WX, Cloud Weather, and then Twitter at Cloud Casey. So live coverage on the different platforms, a whole list there. Website has the links, and then I have the radar website as well. But then if we just need a post, it's Facebook, Twitter, on the website. You can get some of that information as well there. The Facebook information stream does populate there on top right, almost top right of that page. Just scroll down just maybe a bit, but it depends on how it is set up. I mean, if you're on a phone, you might have to scroll a little bit more, but it just kind of depends on how you have things set up there on your display. So that's going to do it for now. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for trusting me for the time being. We'll be back here as necessary through the day, through the evening. If we don't have to come back today, we'll be back here if needed tomorrow. And if not, we'll perform an update tomorrow night. So that'll do it for now.